Alright, so Eternal Return released a pretty new champion called Rio. She is pretty damn cute. Aside from being cute, this champion is a bow user and she hits like a freaking truck. So this video is gonna be on why should you buy Rio. So let's start off with her abilities. Alright, so Rio's Q makes you switch between a short bow form and a long bow form. Your first form is your short bow. In short bow, every time you auto attack, you do an extra auto attack, and you'll attack a lot faster in this form. Next up, you have your longbow form, which you gain extra range, but you attack much more slower. So there's a passive on this Q, and it's that every third auto attack, depending on your bow form, you get a special proc. So in short bow, you get extra move speed, so you just run around faster. And your longbow form, it does a slow and execute damage on your third auto attack, which is pretty nice. So a tip in using the Q passive is that you should stack up in your short bow form. So you want to get 2 auto attacks off in your short bow form because you attack a lot faster in short bow. And then you switch to your longbow form to proc your third auto. Next up, you have your W. So in your short bow form, your W does a small shotgun in front of you, and if they get hit by the bolts of your W, they get slowed. In your longbow form, you fire an arrow which goes a lot further than your short bow form, and if it hits a target, it's gonna break up, shoot a shotgun bolt behind the unit that you hit. Only in the longbow form, when you land your W, will you have reduced cooldown. So when you land your W in your longbow form, it will reset the cooldown about 6 seconds, which is really good because you could start spamming your W more in team fights for more poke damage. Next up, you have your E, probably the most busted ability in your kit. So your E is a backflip. If someone's in your range, you're gonna shoot a bolt at them, and in your short bow form, you're gonna shoot one bolt, just a normal bolt, and if it hits someone, you get your cooldown resetted, which is pretty good. Your cooldown goes down by like 5 seconds, so this is a really good kiting tool. In your longbow form, your E has a lot more range, and when you hit someone with the bolt on your E, it will apply a AoE damage towards that target. The bolts from your E could hit multiple targets, so if you have enemies grouped up and you're in your longbow form and you land the E, you could probably get some really nasty AoE damage. So yeah, that is your E. Next up, you have your ulti. So in your short bow form, your ulti shoots 3 shots. The first 2 shots is just normal shots, and then the third shot that it shoots is gonna knock enemies back. Enemies that are knocked into a wall will be stunned, which is pretty good. You should use this mainly for kiting. Next up, you have your longbow ulti. This is an Ashe ulti. It goes like halfway across the map, so you can snipe someone with the ulti. This ulti slows people for 80% for like 3 seconds, so pretty much they're like stunned. It's really nice starting fights and picking people off at the end of fights, so it's a nice way to secure kills and stuff like that. This ulti is pretty neat. It's kind of hard to land in a longbow form, so yeah, should definitely practice that. When you upgrade your passive, you get ignore defense. All critical chance is converted to damage. All skill amplification is also converted to damage. Your champion will not be able to critically strike. So don't be complaining, asking why you can't critically strike, because your passive literally makes it that you can't critically strike. So yeah, that is it for Rio's abilities. Next up, we're going to talk about what you're going to max. So when you're going attack speed Rio or like ENAD's Rio, you should probably max your Q. Q is going to be your main source of DPS. It's going to give you that attack speed for kiting, and it's going to give you move speed for kiting, extra attack, damage scaling like ratio, so your autos do a lot more damage. Next up, you're going to max out your E. In my opinion, max out E before talent, because E is literally straight busted. Alright, no melees could ever touch you if you're playing Rio and you max E. Your E is so spammable, making you like impossibly hard to kill. So max your E to increase your survivability and be a stronger duelist. Max out your talent next, so you can start shredding tanks. W will be your last skill you're gonna be upgrading. In attack speed Rio, you should pretty much never use your W unless you're trying to slow them down so they don't come towards you, or you use your W in your longbow form to start poking people down. Most of the time, just stay in your shortbow form and just unbind your Q button, because there's literally no point in using your W in longbow form, because if your attack speed, you won't do any damage. Longbow W. Next up, we're going to talk about the AP build. So in the AP build, you're probably going to want to max your W, E, and then Q. W for the shotgun effect in your shortbow form, so you can like literally one burst someone with your W. E, obviously self-explanatory, you don't want to die, so you want to probably max your E. In this build, your W in longbow form hits like a bitch. So yeah, should definitely spam your W and E in your longbow form because they have more range. The cooldowns get resetted, and your W cooldown gets resetted in your longbow form, so extra poke damage, you know, it's really nice. Talent last because if you're going spell amp, you pretty much don't need to ignore defense, and if you're also going spell amp, you're probably going to change out your bow if you get wick. So yeah, that is that for spell amp. Okay, so which Rio build should you go, attack speed or spell amp? I will make this really simple. You go attack speed for solos, attack speed for duos. If you want to have fun, you go spell amp for duos and spell amp for squads. So the thing is, for Rio, she doesn't have consistent damage with spell amp. In solos, you pretty much want consistent damage, so you could always be dishing out your damage without like waiting for cooldowns, which is why you should go attack speed for solos. Attack speed for duos because you also need consistent damage in duos. You can't be relying on your other partner to be dishing out the damage when you're playing spell amp, because for spell amp, your damage mainly comes from poking them down, and in duos, you don't really need to poke people down. You just like have to hard engage and you just bop them. In squads, a little bit different though, because you're in attack speed Rio build, you're mainly playing short bow. Short bow means that you need to be a lot closer to opponents, meaning that in squads, if you get caught out, you're going to get 3-man jumped on, and that is not good. In squads, go spell amp because your W, your E has a ton of AoE. You could play really safe poking people down. You could, you know, land really good engages with your R. Your D ability starts hurting like a bitch because you have a spell amp. So yeah, do spell amp in squads, attack speed for the other two modes. Spell amp is also pretty decent in duos, so yeah, that is it for Rio's build. Next up, we're gonna go through pros and cons of this character, and why should you play this character. So pro, this character is actually pretty straightforward, pretty easy to pick up. If you're going attack speed Rio, all you gotta do is unbind your Q button. You literally do not need to click Q if you're playing attack speed Rio. This is the easiest way to learn Rio at the very early stage when you buy this champion. Next pro is that she is very versatile. Because of her E, it makes her very flexible, like marksman. She could literally go in, she could go ham, she could play very far away, she could do everything, alright? The champion's really good, very well-rounded pick. Third, you can literally build whatever the fuck you want on the champion. You have spell amp, you have attack speed. You can literally build any items and you will still do damage. This is how crazy the champion is. And the last pro, which is pretty much my favorite, is that you are the best duelist in this game. Literally, no one could 1v1 you late game. No champion could, unless like you get CC'd or something, you know, maybe. But if it's a 1v1, you would never lose because your champion is that strong. So cons. First con is that the champion is really straightforward to pick up, but in order to maximize your damage, you should actually learn how to switch between bow forms. So to become a better Rio player, you should definitely learn how to switch bows, and that's going to make things a little bit more complicated. Next con is that even though this champion is really easy to pick up, the skill cap on this champion is really, really high because you have to be really mechanical in kiting, positioning, you know, all those things, because if you get caught out in a split second in squads or duos, you will literally get nuked and it's going to be a 2v3 for your team, and that's not good. Last con is that you should definitely learn your transition builds. Rio's transition builds, like, literally so stupidly and strong. VF Blood, Force Core items make this champion power spike super duper hard. Mithril items as well, because the Force Core items that she gets gives her The force core items that she gets gives her a lot more AD, means that her autos hurt a lot more. The VF Blood Blow is literally so strong on her because you have lifesteal and you get attack speed bonus and you get an insane flat AD bonus. Red Shoes is also really strong on her because attack speed, critical chance, lifesteal, all good stats on her. On this champion, you always want lifesteal because you shoot like a minigun. You're gonna start lifestealing from 0 to 100 in like 3 seconds from like, you know, your auto attacks. So this is why you should definitely learn how to make transition builds. Mithril armors also really insane. More defense, they give you attack speed. You're really good on her, keeping her survivability up. And yeah, this is it for pros and cons of Rio. So for people that want to, you know, buy Rio, you should definitely be a type of person that should be, you know, have safe hands. All right, you don't want to play Rio if you don't have safe hands because you kind of don't want to be jumping in with your E. You want to be playing in the back, kiting, you know, waiting for your chance to come and then go in. Rio is also pretty mechanical, so the first thing you should know is kiting. Kiting is really important on her, so if you don't want to learn kiting, don't buy her, alright? And if you want a really flexible champion, get Rio. Rio is really flexible. You have your spellbound build, you have your attack speed build, they're all really viable. Her gameplay is also really flexible. You could play between longbow and shortbow, whoever mode you want to, you know, play. And yeah, that is it about Rio. In my opinion, I really enjoyed this champion. Had a lot of fun with her. Definitely, you know, might be one of my mains. Hope you guys are gonna buy the champion. And yeah, that is it. I'll catch you guys all next time. Peace.